story. We are going to be listening to some scary stories tonight. By me, obviously. Can't forget that I haven't done this in a little while, so it is time. It is very much time for some well-deserved scary stories tonight. I hope you all are ready for this. I really do, because we have not done this in quite a while. So I hope everything works out tonight. I am, fucking, what is it? I'm just gonna be reading some stories off of Reddit. So if you do end up enjoying, we will enjoy it. Where did that go? It's probably on the outside here. Yeah. Alright, we do have chat up on screen, so don't worry about that. We will get all of that sorted. Hopefully that does not. Alright, I think we should be chilling. I hope. Alright, we need to turn that music down just a little bit. And then maybe a little loud. Where is it? We could probably just cut that in general. I don't really need that up. But I'm just gonna be I'm just gonna warn you now. I know I'm probably gonna fuck up on some words, and I'm a very weird reader, so I'm just saying it may happen. I'm just saying. So bear with me with that. I'm just saying. Thank you. But yeah, let's get right into this. So this is a story. I am stuck in the hospital and there is something horribly wrong. So yeah, let's get into this. The last time I went to the doctor's visit was when my carpal tunnel started acting up. It's acting up right now, but when I went to the appointment, I was expecting to walk out of there with a prescription for painkillers and a doctor's note to take the day off from work. Instead, I am now trapped in a hospital, sitting at a computer, covered head to toe in blood, filled with barely any hope left. I live in a small town called Westport in Ohio. It's one of those towns where you literally pass it after driving past an exit on the highway. It's that small. You'll probably go to look it up and won't find it either. There's something going on. I should have paid more attention to the broadcasts and news. I should have... Oh god, see, I'm already fucking up. People were fleeing the state and even the country. I didn't know until I looked up at the amount of people in the US getting passports and getting the hell out of Dodge in 2022. I've been seeing a lot of non-scripted vans and vehicles coming and going lately after the fact. It isn't a stretch to say that I think what is happening to my town and people here is connected. May be happening in other places as well. I'm getting ahead of myself. I walked in to see the usual 2 or 3 people in seats looking off into space and signed in with a grunt and sigh. You in for Arm again, James? Asked the young front desk lady with a kind smile, but a miserable look in her eye. Linda, I think. Yeah, it's pretty bad, I said. I turned and sat down in the waiting room. Once I finished, when one of the patients was called, I remembered hearing something strange coming from the hallway outside the room. The building we were in was a small general hospital with about 24 to 30 rooms, give or take. The sounds were audible cries with something else. They seemed to be coming from a woman, so I figured it had to be another section, like the maternal ward or the examination room, with producers being performed, and someone was crying out, and male doctor maybe calling for help. Brushing this off, I started at the chair in front of me and began to experience a sinking feeling in my chest that something wasn't quite right. Usually when I get uncomfortable, it's because there's a sort of disturbance in the force that I experience, and I felt it then hard. I looked over I looked over to Linda, and she was on the phone speaking quietly into the receiver. The desk had one of those transparent plastic covers, aside from the fingerprints and markings, that was recently put up due to COVID-19's outbreak. It was a little funky to see clearly, but we locked eyes for a moment and her expression was grim, with her dark eyes now wide, and a look of fear washed over her. She hung up the phone a moment later and looked down at her desk. At a moment, the cries became louder. I realized they were coming from the back room of the doctor's office instead. The cries came closer and closer until the waiting room door flew open and an elderly woman with tears flowing down her face came through the door. She was doing this half laugh, half cry thing while smiling. She walked while doing this and slightly jerked her body and approached Linda. "You checking out, Grace?" she asked in a concerned tone. "Why, yes, I am," she exclaimed. The elderly woman was some vulgar. The woman was twitching and smiling and giggling in this fashion that I just can't put into words, except that she looked strung out on something, but her eyes were lucid, aware even, but still had tears flowing down them. It was, for lack of a better term, uncanny to look at. I watched her as she left the room, twitching ever so happily. "Mr. Hamilton," Linda brought me back to reality, although the reality of the situation was that I'm here for my pain, and the woman that had just left here to see my doctor for pain and general health. I got up and nervously walked to the open door to see a smiling woman holding it open for me, inviting me inside. "Dr. Marino will see you now. Follow me to room 4, said the woman, and I had this struggle for a brief period and brushed it off when I remembered that old people act strange sometimes. My wrist was killing me right now, and I got in the way of my job, my life and job. I'm still working as a carpenter until I can retire. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. The point is, I didn't really have anywhere else to go. For my general health issues, I wanted to move somewhere. That's when it hit me. But it was already too late, as I was already in the room waiting for Dr. Marino to see me. I had this feeling that I should just get up and leave. The door opened and Dr. Marino appeared before me, shutting the door behind him. When he turned his back to me, he graciously put up one arm behind his back and the other in front of his chest, a syringe in his hand. "James, it is a pleasure to see you again. Feeling some pain, are we?" he asked, smiling. What? I was sitting down and knew that instantly this was wrong. Not only was the syringe jarring, but I knew Dr. Marino, well, he fucking hates the world and basically tolerates me. I had no idea who this guy was, this version of him. "Tim, buddy, what the hell are you? Oh, what's that?" I got up from the chair. He smiled. His smile faded, slightly mouth twitching as the gestures eased. "What's this?" he replied. "Oh, this is help. This is salvation." He started giggling. Something this guy never does. I was trying to inch toward the door as his eyes peered into me like a watchful owl. "I'm good, buddy. I'm just gonna go now. I was making my way closer to the sink that was mere feet from the door. You're not going to like what's out there without this. That wrist of yours won't get any better. This will help you. This will save you, he replied slowly. I was now by the sink. It saved me, said the doctor. Our eyes now peered into each other, and everything was still silent for what felt like an hour, but it was only seconds. I looked down at the injection, which was a clear liquid. A loud pop and scream ran out somewhere nearby, and the doctor yelled as if in protest to the noise outside. I rushed for the door, but the doctor lunged at my arm, and swung the injection toward my throat. I shot back, and he missed, but I was panicking horribly, and threw the guy into the wall. I got out of the room, and sprinted towards the waiting room. I got past a hallway leading into the doctor's office and crashed through the doors. I stopped instantly, and almost tripped. Someone was on the floor face down by the front desk, which had that plastic cover now tossed aside on the ground near the body. It was another man that was waiting, and there was blood pooling around his head. Linda was either gone or crouched under the desk because the phone line was hanging over the edge, and I could hear a faint and urgent voice. I had no time to comprehend what was happening. Dr. Marino screamed from behind me, and I could hear him getting closer. I looked around the room, and I backed into the corner. He burst through the door and stopped as I bumped into a waiting room chair. He looked at the body, and then he spotted me. For now, we are going to stop there, and until next time. I just keep stuttering. I didn't have a good one today. That's my bad. I keep fucking up everything. But trust me, I will try and read this in I'll try to be able to read this a little bit more better, hopefully tomorrow. I'm hoping. I'm just saying. But yeah, thank you guys for stopping in, and I'm sorry for my speech. It is terrible, I know. But yeah, I will see you guys hopefully